Jefferson is deep, along with Matt Bouza. And Dixon Zachary as Jan Stenerud approaches the ball. Game time temperature is 37 degrees. Anderson fielding the ball at the 20-yard line, takes it out to the 26th. And the Colts will put it in play from there. 6 rookie starters on this Baltimore club. 4 of them on defense, a couple of them on offense. The run back 15 yards. This is the way the Colts line up. Pagel, of course, a rookie. A couple of good running backs, however, in Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan. Butler, veteran wide receiver. The offensive line. A lot of young players there. Terry Crouch is a rookie from Oklahoma. Colts offense has scored just 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games. And on 1st and 10 from the 26, they try to get it outside. Curtis Dickey trying to turn the corner. They did that very successfully against Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago. But short yardage picked up on that play to the 30-yard line. A pickup of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Mike Douglas made the stop. So look at the Green Bay front 3. Fine set of veterans there, along with the Packer linebackers. Randy Scott is starting in place of the injured Rich Wingo, who was hurt a couple of weeks ago, and Bart Starr feels comfortable there, as he does with his veteran secondary. The numbers on Pagel: 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions so far for the rookie who played for Frank Kush at Arizona State. Randy McMillan across the 30 up to the 33-yard line. Mike Butler and Cumbie making the stop for the Green Bay Packers. And the weather situation right now, 36 degrees. We understand it is snowing in Washington and heading this way. Although the weathermen were saying as of noon that they didn't expect the snow to arrive until after the game ended. But you never know. 3rd down, Baltimore Colts need 3 for the 1st down with the ball at their 33-yard line. Zachary Dixon has come into the lineup at the tailback position. It is Dixon on the carry. He's got the 1st down for Baltimore as he clears it across the 35 out to the 38-yard line. Not a large crowd here, but a very enthusiastic crowd, expected to be around 30,000.
One of the things that the coach wanted to do coming into this ball game was to run at the tackles and outside, because they didn't feel that they had enough muscle inside to run right at the Green Bay Packers.
Dixon is the leading rusher on the season thus far for the Baltimore Colts. 45 carries, averaging 4.6 per carry. 1st and 10, Baltimore from the 33-yard line. In the Colts end of the field, Pagel with the quick throw out to Ray Butler. And Butler has another 1st down at midfield. This team has come close in the last couple of weeks. They almost beat Cincinnati. They almost beat Minnesota. Getting better every week.
Frank, this is one of the plays that Zeke Brodkowski said that they wanted to try to get involved with. Because the linebacker was slow getting to that coverage area, they would try to get a quick pass over there, a winning play on 1st down. They were successful that time with Ray Butler making the catch.
Mike McCoy on the tackle. Colts have it 1st and 10 at midfield. 2nd straight 1st down in this opening drive. There's a blitz. Pagel fumbles the football as he was creamed from the blind side by Mike Douglas, number 53. But the Colts managed to retain possession. However, the loss will be close to 10 yards. Nobody touched Douglas.
No one saw him coming. We were talking with Mike Douglas last night. He said this is what he likes to do. This is his favorite position, playing on the uncovered side, which gives him a lot of options. Right there, he sacked the quarterback. Almost caused a turnover.
And Douglas came up limping a little bit from that confrontation. Loss on the play moves it back to the 42-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 17. Colts from their 42-yard line have Matt Bouza split wide to the left, Butler to the right, Pagel back to throw it. Steps up into the pocket, and after pumping it once, finally gets rid of the ball intended for Curtis Dickey, and did a good job avoiding the sack.
Well, one thing that Coach Kush was telling us yesterday, that because of this team is so inexperienced, you know, breakdown on each play causes them to get themselves backed up.
Pagel may have been shaken up a little bit. Mike really won this job in preseason. He did come out as the number 4 pick. Frank Kush told us yesterday he couldn't believe he was still there in the draft, and the 4th round came up, so he picked him up. And he was absolutely sensational in preseason, throwing for 7 touchdowns. Did not have a single interception. In fact, he threw 5 touchdown passes to Ray Butler. 3rd down, 17. Colts from their 42-yard line floated over the middle, intended for Curtis Dickey. and nearly picked off by Mike Jolly, the fifth defensive back, number 21. So the Colts will be in a punting posture, and that's one of their standout areas this year in Roan Stark, their punter, who is currently third in the National Football Conference with a very fine average. Philip Epps will be deep for the Packers, number 85, who has been a sensation.
The star likes him. We asked him last night about him, and he had a smile on his face. He's a very pleasant surprise for him.
For a 12th round draft choice, left-footed by Stark, driving Epps back to the 7, the former track star from TCU, back to the 5, now starts upfield and is stopped short of the 10-yard line. Good coverage by the Colts, and one of the Baltimore players was shaken up on the play. Getting up very slowly for the Baltimore Colts is Pat Beach, a reserve. One of your better blocks of the year. Watch number 51, Guy Prather of the Packers, right there as he drills Pat Beach, and that's one reason that Beach got up very slowly.
I tell you, life is very precarious out there on the special teams.
Packers with their first offensive possession. Very poor field position back at the 9-yard line. Jefferson in motion, and they give it to Gary Ellis, and Ellis gets across the 10 out to the 11-yard line. Total of 13 rookies on this Baltimore team. This is the way the Packers line up. Lynn Dickey, of course, with his worst day of the year last week against the Detroit Lions, trying to bounce back. We thought perhaps Greg Cook would not be starting. He's been injured, did not practice all week, but he is in there right now.
Yes, Frank, he hurt his back earlier this week and lifted while he was lifting weights.
Dickey dropped from first in NFC passing to fourth after last week. Lee Ivory spinning out of a tackle at the line of scrimmage, but got just a yard or so. Nose tackle Leo Wisniewski, one of the young rookies, second-round draft choice from Penn State, made the stop. Number 69. This is the way the Colts front three lines up. That's a basic no-name defense. Dave Simmons is getting a start today, which is his first of the year. He's a former Green Bay Packer, and a very young secondary, and one of those names in there I'm sure is familiar to the guy next to me, because Larry Anderson was a fine kick returner for the Pittsburgh Steelers for quite a few years. Third down and 9. Packers from the 11-yard line. Dickey back at the goal line is Grunts, loses the ball. The Packers managed to recover. It looked like the Colts rush, led by Johnny Cooks, number 98, was so elated to get the sack they forgot to look for the ball.
Those sacks don't come too easily. This is one problem that the Colts have been, that the Packers have been having all year, is protecting the quarterback. They got a long route here. Right from the right of your screen, you'll see Johnny Cook, number 98, come out and sack the quarterback, but they, as Frank stated, they lost the football.
Carl Swanke, number 67, coming up with the ball. Stakowicz will be punting from as far back as he can get in the end zone. So Baltimore should come out with excellent field position. Almost had it blocked on him. Stakowicz got knocked down, but no flag. Taken at the 50-yard line by Anderson. 40, 30, and Anderson finally down at the 23-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. 49 yards on the punt, and a great return by Larry Anderson, one of your old friends.
Yes, sir, and that's what Larry does best. Larry has a Super Bowl record for returning punts. Right here, the reason they didn't call that because he was blocked into the punter.
It's a good point. But a great run back by Anderson, and the Colts have a first down at the Packer 23. As Mike Pagel ducks into the huddle, that return of 28 yards. So Pagel from Arizona State played a year and a half in college under Frank Cush before Cush departed. Pitch to Dickey. Curtis Dickey, the sprinter from A&M, down to the 20 and out of bounds near the first down marker at the 14-yard line.
Well, I tell you, these young Colts are fired up. They thought they had an opportunity to win this game coming in, and they're coming out playing like they want to win the ball game.
Well, they've got San Diego and Miami left on their schedule, so they feel if they got a shot to win one, they maybe better get it out of the way today.
I would reckon.
Or else forget about it. Bart Starr not entirely happy the way the Packers have started, but he should be used to it because Green Bay is perhaps the slowest starting team in the National Football League, but they come on like gangbusters in the second half. 2nd and 1. Cleveland Franklin should have enough for the first down. He needed just a yard. Franklin, former Baylor running back. There's Frank Kush. He can charm you to death when you talk to him, but for the last 2 days we have heard some interesting Frank Kush stories from players.
Yeah, there's Bud there. Bud is he installed this defense here at Baltimore, and he has a reputation for being a good defensive coordinator. He started at Pittsburgh, and he was very instrumental in developing Pittsburgh's defense.
Imagine you were close to him for quite a few years, weren't you?
Yes, sir. We had some good battles, very good battles.
Left the Steelers to go to the Rams, and then was dismissed along with the rest of Ray Malabazi's staff last year, and wound up coaching for Kush here in Baltimore. Colts did pick up the first down after the measurement. Nose of the ball just outside the Green Bay Packer 13-yard line. Curtis Dickey down to around the 10. Pick up a 4 in the play. It'll be second down 6. George Cumbie, number 52, making the stop. Other scores around the National Football League, and of course many of the games are already underway. In the second period, the Vikings lead the Lions 17-7. That's in Pontiac. Giants and the Redskins in a defensive slug out in Washington. 7-3 in the second quarter. Wayne Morris has just run a yard for a touchdown. And at halftime, St. Louis out in front. No score in our game. We've got a second down 6. Baltimore at the Green Bay Packer 10. Not much there for Zachary Dixon, number 31. As Mike McCoy comes up to make the stop. The stadium seats about 60,000, but it's about half full right now. It's only the second home game that the Colts have had since the strike ended, but a very enthusiastic crowd. In fact, after the Cincinnati game, which they lost by 3 points, they gave the Colts a standing ovation.
That's a bit unusual, in particular when you lose.
Third down. Long 6 needed for the first down. Baltimore at the Green Bay 10. Both offense having problems again. Pagel completes the pass to Dixon. Doesn't look like it's quite enough for the first down. At about the 6 is where he was nailed by Cumbie, the number 1 draft choice of the Packers in 1980. The fans quite naturally want Kush to go for it, but he will opt for the field goal at this point and has a brand new field goal kicker to look at. Dan Miller, wearing number 1, who was drafted by the Washington Redskins and fought Mark Mosley to a standstill in preseason. They finally decided on Mosley, and aren't they lucky, with Mosley hitting his last 18.
I tell you, Miller could seal his fate right now, whether he makes, if he misses this kick right here. There's been a lot of movement here in Baltimore. Because recently 140 players have been through this camp.
23-yard effort is good. Dan Miller, who after being cut by the Redskins went to the New England Patriots and spent a month with them. And Miller puts the Baltimore Colts in the scoreboard. They lead 3-0 with 6:05 left in the opening period. Dan Miller, who is one of the leading kickers in college football last year for the Miami Hurricanes. Added just this week to the roster. Kickoff is high and short, and Del Rogers fields it for Green Bay in the 13, across the 20 to 30, and up to the 33-yard line. So the Packers will get more reasonable field position on their second offensive possession of the afternoon. Not much of a drive. Climax by the 23-yard field goal by Miller, and Baltimore leads 3-0. Colts have been ahead in the third period. They were last week, but they haven't been ahead in the fourth quarter. You see it's coming down, Joe? Have you noticed?
I noticed it.
That little white stuff. It is starting to snow here in Baltimore ever so lightly. Packers first and 10 from their 33. Eddie Lee Ivory taking the handoff from Lynn Dickey, and Ivory gets out to the 38-yard line. Packers never got their ground game going last week against Detroit because they had to go to the air so early. I mean, they gave up the ball 3 times in the first 10 minutes of the ball game, deep in their own territory.
Bart Starr was saying yesterday that it's very important for them to establish a running game because they do want to throw the football. And unless they just go out throwing the football, it creates a lot of pressure on that offensive line who's having problems of late.
Pick up a 4 by Ivory. It is 2nd and 6, Green Bay. Packers from their 37. Straight handoff, Gary Ellis across the 40 out to the 41-yard line. A lot of people talking about the Green Bay offensive line like they might really be the key.
I would think so. You know, they've had, I think, 9 sacks last week, and before that it was 8 sacks. And they do like to throw the ball deep to those fine wideouts. They can't get the ball to those wide receivers, and they're in a bit of trouble.
Third down. Packers need 2 for the first down to keep the drive going from their own 41-yard line. Second man through is Lee Ivory running hard, and he's got the first down for Green Bay at the 46-yard line. Good charge. Nesby Glasgow came up from the secondary to make the stop. Glasgow is the free safety who leads the Colts in tackling this year. And that's one indication you got problems when you've got your free safety leading you in tackles. That means they're getting through awful far.
That means that that's right. The defensive linemen are not making any tackles. But Glasgow said he loves to hit. That's one of his favorite things.
Snow flurries getting a little bit heavier here by the moment. 1st and 10, Green Bay. That looked like the ball popped loose there for a second. Rodgers with great second effort. Second-round draft choice this year and a good prospect.
So he had made a very good cut here at the line of scrimmage here. You're going to see Thompson miss a tackle right there, but this second effort right here, running through the tacklers right there.
But the ball bobbled loose there for a second, but he hung on very securely. Look at that drive. Great leg action. A pickup of 8 yards. 2nd and 2, Green Bay in Colt territory at the first time at the 47. Ellis busts through over the right side to the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. That's another Green Bay first down. Again, Nesby Glasgow making the stop. Colts, as we said, the youngest team in the National Football League, 24 years of age, and their playing experience under 2 years per man. So they've got a long, long way to go. Big turnover on the roster.
Coach Starr said that he felt that if they could run the football on these people, they'd be all right. He wanted to go at their linebackers because he felt that they were kind of inexperienced there.
Packers with a first down at the Colt 37. Ivory is really creamed at the line of scrimmage. Colts really came up the middle. Johnny Cooks, number 98. The number 1 pick in the draft for the Colts and only the 2nd player taken. You know, Kenneth Sims was number 1 and Cooks came right behind. You look at the Baltimore defense, you're going to see a lot of 90s. You don't see that around the National Football League, but the reason is that they have retired so many linemen. They have more retired players than any team in the National Football League. Total is 7, and many were linemen with numbers in the 70s. So they've had to go to the 90s. People like Art Donovan and Jim Parker. Carry down to the 36-yard line as the Packers' strategy seems to be obvious. Lee Ivory picking up 3 on that play. They're trying to keep it on the ground. Here's a look now at the numbers that the Colts have retired down through the years, more than any other team in the NFL. And quite obviously, all are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and deserve the honor.
Well, Frank, they've had some great teams through the years here, Baltimore. And this is a great contest. This game here has a lot of tradition behind it. The Baltimore Colts and the Green Bay Packers.
Third down, 9. Big play for the Packers in this drive at the Colt 36. Dickey looking downfield for Lofton. Good defense by Burrows, the young man who returned the interception last week against Minnesota, knocking that ball away from James Lofton, the Packers All-Pro. And that will be a little bit outside of field goal range for Stenerud, so Stakowicz will come in to do the punting.
They had a lot of people around the receiver there, and they were in a double zone, and they had both of those wideouts covered pretty good.
A lot of reunions here in Baltimore today. Before the game, Zeke Bratkowski got together with Bart Starr. Zeke, of course, was on Bart's staff. Last 7 years, he's now the offensive coordinator. John Jefferson getting together with his old college coach, Frank Bush. Stakowicz angling this one for the far side, coffin corner, and puts it out of bounds inside the 5. Beautiful job by the Packer punter. And this Colt offense, which has had its problems all season long, saddled with very poor field position at the 4-yard line. A minute. Green from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. There's Zeke Bratkowski, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Colts. Seems strange not to see him on the Green Bay side of the field. This is the first meeting between these two clubs in 9 years. Colts backed up deep in their own territory with a first down at their own 4-yard line. And Pagel will throw it from out of the end zone. Going long for Ray Butler. Butler is out there, but is well defended against. Butler can move down the field, but Mark Lee, number 22, can motor as well.
That was a fine defensive play there. It was one-on-one. One-on-one. Right there, waiting to the last moment. He didn't look back until the receiver looked back, and then he made his move.
You might have noticed the cheer from the crowd. Cush has been accused this year of being a little conservative, particularly on first down, and not throwing the football. And the fans love the fact that he simply had Pagel put it in the air.
Pagel was telling us he's trying to get him to do that for 5 years.
Yeah, Mike said he tried that all the way through college and then now into the pros as well, and hadn't had much success. Swarming Packer defense. Nothing whatsoever for Randy McMillan as he tried to go around the left side. Mike Douglas, number 53, on the charge. He is an intense competitor.
Oh, Mike's a tremendous player. It was a scout in this league that told me that Mike Douglas is probably one of the best weak side linebackers in the game. Right here, he gets good penetration and stops the ball carrier McMillan.
Mike Douglas told us last night he actually went to Arizona State, played 1 year for Frank Cush, and said that was enough. He said he had him out there in the mountain with the barbed wire fence and everything else, and he said, well, this is what college football is supposed to be like, and that's this way everywhere. He found out different when he transferred the next year.
But that was a great story.
That was a great story. Third down play, and the Colts stay conservative as McMillan out to about the 10-yard line, so Baltimore will be punting from the end zone. You know, Cush has a little camp, or he used to in college at Arizona State, up at a nearby mountain, and he had the thing fenced in to keep the bears out, they said. The players had a cafeteria and had cabins they stayed in and a football field. And so when Douglas went there his first year, he said, well, I guess this is the way it is everywhere in college football. But then he elected to transfer after the first year and found out it was a little bit different. That's the end of the first period of play here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, with the Colts leading the Packers 3-2. Second quarter about to get underway, and Roan Stark, the Colts punter, trying to keep his hands warm. He's standing 5 yards deep in the end zone. Fine high kick. Epps circling underneath it at the Packer 40. Trying to find some running room on the far sideline. 45. And doing a little tiptoe down the far sideline in front of the Packer bench. He's knocked out of bounds at the Green Bay 48. That is a punt of 50 yards for Roan Stark, who was the highest punter picked in the draft since Russell Erxleben. He was a third-round selection for Baltimore this year, and obviously well worth it.
Yes, he did get an awful lot of height on that ball, and he had probably a pretty good hang time on that, and the punt was covered very well.
Green Bay Packer first period, rather typical of what's happened to the Pack all year long. They've been outscored now 45-12 in the first quarter.
Bart was very worried coming into this ball game because his offense did not get on track last week, and through the first quarter they're still kind of struggling a little bit. And he said that the key to his offense today is in that offensive line.
Cush was saying yesterday he wouldn't mind a little sleet or snow and slow down the field because obviously he's very concerned about his young secondary covering the likes of James Lofton and John Jefferson.
He did say that. And I think that is it's a good point because it neutralizes that offense, the people that they have that can get deep on you.
Packers ball, 1st and 10 from their 48-yard line.
Frank, I'm cold up here. I tell you, I would be a little bit warmer down there if I was working.
You were cold before the game even started. A little Christmas picture postcard from Baltimore. Swing pass. Dickey out to Gary Ellis, and Ellis takes it across the 50 and into Colt territory at the 45-yard line. A pickup of 7 on the play. I can't believe as often as you played in the snow and the sleet that you'd be cold.
I'm having a hard time believing that, too. I don't know. Maybe it's my age. My blood has gotten a little thin.
What's the coldest game you've ever been in? Any stick out in your mind?
Oh, I think we had a playoff game against Oakland back in 1975. That was about, I think it was 15 degrees. We had a wind chill factor below 0.
Second down 4. Packers moving at the Baltimore Colts 45. They trail 3-0 early in the second period. Dickey sticking with the ground game, goes to Ellis, and we get our first flag. of the afternoon. Ellis looked like he picked up enough for the first down, but the penalty marker was thrown. The referee for the ball game today is Red Cashin. And the indication, illegal procedure against the Green Bay Packers, which will cost the Packers 5 yards. Green Bay, up until last week's game, was the highest scoring team in the NFL. They really put a lot of points on the scoreboard. I think somebody brought you a present, Joe. A foot heater.
I love it.
Illegal formation by the offense. The tackle was uncovered. It'll still be second down.
So move it back to the 50-yard line. It is second down 8 for the Packers at midfield.
You know that little dive play that they just ran the last play? I kind of like that play. As a defensive player, that was a very difficult play to defend against. It looks very simple.
Looks like Bart Starr is very insistent on sticking with the ground game. The area is thrown very sparingly so far. Dickey lets one go. He's got Kaufman. Paul Kaufman, the tight end, pulls it down at the 23 of Baltimore. First down for the Packers. Larry Anderson, the strong safety, number 30, was back there defending.
Larry Anderson is going to get beat on this play here. Kaufman breaks down the middle here, and you're going to see Larry Anderson come in the picture here. Larry Anderson is a corner that's trying to make the switch to safety, and he was in very poor position in.
Of course, Anderson came to the Colts, I think, primarily as a kick returner. Now he winds up playing regular in the secondary. They've had a mass shuttle in and out of the Colts training camp. They've had at least one player move every week this year. First and 10. Huckabee is coming to the ball game, and a running back takes it down to the 20 and inside the 20. And pardon me, that was Dale Rogers, number 35, on the carry to the 18-yard line. They pick up a 5 on the play. It'll be second down 5. This field's in good shape. There's a look at Bob Schnelker, who is the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, who's really meant a lot to the Green Bay attack this year. The fact that really picked up. There's Schnelker. Last year he's with Detroit. You can see what happened to the Lions offense. After he came to Green Bay, the Lions have had all kinds of problems. Ball is at the Colt 18, second and 5. Dickey with a fake into the middle, trying to set up the screen, and Lee Ivory couldn't handle it.
It appeared that he was open there for a second. He just wasn't able to handle the football. The Green Bay Packers have probably run the screen pass more often than anybody in the National Football League.
Lights are on here at Memorial Stadium. Well, that last game we did against Minnesota, they just screened Minnesota to death.
Yes, they did. It was probably a key play for them in that ball game. Very instrumental in the victory.
Dickey right now is 2 out of 4 for 35 yards. And a passing situation on 3rd and 5 from the Colt 18-yard line. Packers down 3-0. Early in the second period. Handoff Rodgers. We get a flag. Rodgers with that great second effort. That young man has great balance. Shows how hard he is to knock off his feet. He would have had enough for the first down.
False start.
They'll bring it back. A false start by the Green Bay Packers will cost them 5. Their second penalty in this drive.
These young Colts are getting themselves in good position, but they are missing some tackles out here.
So that'll move it back to the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 10.
False start. Moving too soon. Number 74 of the offense. Still third down.
Bud Carson told me that they wanted to get a little bit aggressive on defense, and when you talk about aggressive on defense, that means blitz. And we'll take a look and see if they're going to blitz him on this play.
Number 74, Tim Huffman from Notre Dame, guilty of the false start a moment ago. 3rd down 9. Dickey, protection good. Deep in the end zone for Epps.
They faked the 4-man rush there, and they dropped Cooks back in the secondary. They had a deep zone on that play.
Colts will go with 6 defensive backs, and Cooks is a tough man to stop. Number 98.
This is one of the advantages of playing the 3-4 and the 4.
With 42 points. His longest kick this year, 42 yards. Long enough and good, and we are tied. 40 yards on the field goal by Jan Stenerud, and with 13 minutes and 28 seconds left to play in the first half. This is a 3-3 ball.
His 14th field goal in his career. He is number 2 all-time to George Blanda,
who has 335. Here's Stenerud's kickoff. Larry Anderson at the 5-yard line, back to the 10, 15, threading his way up the far sideline, and finally tossed out of bounds at the 23 by Estes Hood, number 38. Snow coming down a lot harder, but the field's still in good shape. Score tied at 3 in Baltimore.
Boy, you know, with Christmas coming up Saturday and all, we should have a little snow, shouldn't we, Joe?
I think so.
I don't know if the players care for it right now. Colts have the football with a first down on their 21-yard line. They've only had 2 touchdown drives longer than 80 yards this year. And from this point, obviously, they'd have to go 79. McMillan over the left side gets a yard and a few boos. Again, as we said, Frank Kush is basically conservative offensively. And the Colts would like for him, the Colts fans, I should say, would like for him to open up a little more, particularly on first down. Kush, 22 years in the business.
I think Zeke would like for them to open up a little bit too. You see that paper there in Kush's hand? That's the game plan, the pre-plan for this game.
Second down, 9. Very fine, powdery snow falling right now. Virtually no breeze at all. Mike Pagel airing it out. Incomplete on the far sideline as the pass was intended for Bernard Henry, number 88, the backup wide receiver. All right, Joe, you ready? I'm going to give you your big chance. Read. Come on, Joe.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Baltimore Colts and the National Football League is prohibited.
Such feeling, such emotion I have never heard.
Surprise, surprise.
Third down, 9 for the Colts at their 21. Pagel is 2 out of 6 for 15 yards at this point. With 12 minutes left in the first half. Big rush by the Packers. Pagel trying to get out of it. Going to have to scramble. He'll have a first down. 25, 35, 40 up to the 50. And Pagel steps out of first bound out of the field of play at the 45-yard line. He looked around surprised that he couldn't see anybody with a white shirt.
I think he wanted to fall down. Who are we going to see what the quarterback sees right here? Pagel is trying to find someone, but the pocket breaks down. Uh-oh, he better get out of there. Then he breaks into the open right here. I think he's surprised that there's no one near him. Now he's just looking around, having a nice Sunday afternoon stroll. Gets out of bounds, first down.
32-yard stroll for the Baltimore quarterback, and a Colt first down at the Packer 46. McMillan and Dickey, the setbacks. The fake to Curtis Dickey. Pagel on the roll, throws it on the run, and completes the pass to the tight end, Tim Sherlin, for another first down at the 32-yard line. Young man from Boston College making a fine catch in heavy traffic.
Pagel here, yesterday I was very impressed talking with Pagel because he is the guy that has an awful lot of confidence. He's not nervous out there, and he has his composure all the time. Right there you see on the heavy pressure, but he wanted to make that completion. He got rid of the ball. Sherman brought it in for the first down again.
He had to pay the price. Sherwin was a number 4 draft pick a year ago.
He's beat out the number one draft pick of a couple of years ago in Reese McCall.
First and 10, Baltimore at the Packer 33. Quick throw to the sideline, and Ray Butler picks up most of the yardage there in the crawl as he just gets inside the 30-yard line for a pickup of 3 yards on the play. Butler is the big play guy they have left. He has 11 catches this year, averaged 17 yards per catch. 30-year veteran from Southern Cal, and was their long ball threat last year when he caught 46 for 830 yards and 9 touchdowns. Here's our cameraman getting a little assist from the Colts mascot. Second and 7. Called at the Packer 30. Score tied at 3 here in the second quarter. It is Curtis Dickey inside the 25, and Dickey diving to the 20-yard line to pick up the first down.
Tell you, Frank, the reason that you can get a good cutback lane like that is because the guy that, like Dickey, has world-class speed. And when he takes off to that outside, you have to get to that corner. You have to get there before he does. And because of that, you over pursue and create some cutback lanes. That's what happened on that last play.
Dickey limped off the field and will be tended to along with Terry Crouch, the rookie tackle from Oklahoma. First down. Colts at the Packer 20-yard line. Dixon, number 31, in at the tailback slot. Ray Butler in motion for Baltimore. Randy McMillan, the other setback. Zachary Dixon, there's a flag as Dixon cuts back inside at the 15 and slides to about the 13-yard line. But we had a penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Johnny Gray coming up from the secondary to make the stop.
That's the biggest drive killer in the game. Penalties and holding, things of that sort.
So that will at least slow down this Baltimore Colt drive. Look at the Colts lineup. 9 out of their 24 starters, including their 2 specialty team men, are rookies or first-year men.
Illegal motion. 2 men moving. All not set a second before the ball was snapped. Still first down.
It's very hard to get some kind of continuity when you have that kind of inexperience in the ball on your ball club.
Bart Starr now in his 8th year with the Green Bay Packers, trying to lead them to the playoffs for the first time since 1972, and he was an assistant coach under Dan Devine. 1st and 15. McMillan makes the catch at the 20, loses the ball, but it pops loose, and let's see who came up with it. It was Ray Butler, number 80, who fell on the football. And the Colts are getting a break.
Yes, they did that time. Again, Pagel is dropping back and trying to find a receiver. And he gets a McMillan coming out of the backfield here. McMillan takes a strong hit right here, and he pops the ball out right here. And Butler, number 80, been in the right place at the right time.
Good defense by Terry Jones of the Green Bay Packers. Let's see, the officials will mark it at the 14-yard line. That'll set up a 2nd down and 3 needed for the first down. Colts offense has scored 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games and 5 in 6 games. That's not much production. McMillan, who the coach looked to get the tough yards, will be close to the first down marker at the 12-yard line. Let's see where they spot it here. It looks like it might be a little bit short. It'll be 3rd down, short yardage coming up on the play. George Cumbie made the stop. Of the 31 new additions on the Colt roster this year, 21 are rookies and first-year men. We keep pointing out these things to you just to emphasize how young this football team is. And Cush this year has been through 140 players since the start of training camp. That's a lot of people to move through.
I've been through that experience before, Frank. My first year in Pittsburgh.
3rd down and 1, and they give it to McMillan to pick up the first down. No indication, and now Pagel is indicating to Cush that they still need about a foot or 2. 4th down coming up, less than a yard needed for the first down.
Right here, they're going to have to get a surge here, and they don't get a surge. The Packers got underneath the offensive lineman, and the linebackers cleaned up coming over the top.
Colts call timeout. They're going to talk this over. We'll be back in Baltimore in just a moment. Other scores around the National Football League. Minnesota has jumped on Detroit at halftime. Giants lead the Redskins also at intermission.
The Giants trying to get back into the playoff picture here.
Colts have made their decision. They go with the field goal attempt from 29 yards from Dan Miller to give them the lead. And they went with a fake. And it is whistled dead at the line of scrimmage. They went with the fake as they tried to get the ball underneath to Barry Krause, a linebacker, and he slipped and fell. Watch it.
You got to stop penetration. Right here, number 51 gets too much penetration. He gets too much penetration for that type of play to work, which caused a missed handoff. God praise him.
Timeout, 7:54 left in the half, and the Packers will take over. Fake field goal attempt. See the shovel pass there to Barry Krause.
Yes, Pagel shovel the ball to Barry Krause right there, but again, the play was disrupted because of number 51, Guy Pracer. He got too much penetration and forced Krause deep.
And of course, it mattered little that Ron Stark picked it up because Krause was downed at about the line of scrimmage. So the Packers will take over on their 12-yard line. Snow coming down hard, as it has for the Well, ever since the first moment or two of the ball game, Lee Ivory taking the handoff, trying to string it out, but it won't work. Thompson, number 99, number 1 draft pick a year ago for the Baltimore Colts, with an excellent defensive play. He's emerging as one of the leaders on this young defensive unit, which has played very well the last couple of weeks.
Very eager to learn. I was in there watching film a couple of days ago, and he came in and took some film home. Said he was trying to get ready for the Green Bay Packers, and he didn't want any surprises out there.
Colts, keep in mind, have had 2 first-round draft picks now 3 years in a row, and they had 4 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. So they've done well off the draft the last couple of seasons, and now it's a matter of getting experience for a lot of these players. This is going to be fun about the last quarter if it continues to snow this hard.
Fun for who?
I don't know. Dickey out to Lofton. James Lofton with his first reception of the day. That gets the Packers more or less out of the hole and will give them a first down at the 28-yard line. Burrows making the stop.
That's a very difficult pass to defend against. They're here, and they got man coverage right here. And he looks back, and the ball is coming. The defensive back just reacted very slowly to the ball.
Well, Burrows is getting a good education. Last week he went up against Ahmad Rashad. This is only his 3rd start for the Baltimore Colts. He was a 3rd-round pick this year out of Arizona State. Out of Michigan State. 1st and 10. Dickey fires a bullet intended for Lofton. Double covered over on the far side at the 40-yard line. Coming up next Sunday on CBS, depending on where you happen to be, this is what you see. You Packer fans will see your team at Atlanta to take on a very offensive Atlanta team, and Philadelphia will be at Dallas. And you see the indication between the 3 ball clubs. They right now would qualify with their 1-loss records as home teams in Pete Rozell's Super Bowl tournament. Of course, the Eagles are going to be out of it, so you'll see 3 teams that will probably be opening the playoffs at home next week on CBS. 2nd and 10. Again, Dickey going upstairs. Sideline throw. Lofton wide open at the 43-yard line and out of bounds for the first down after a pickup of 14 yards. Boy, he is silky smooth, isn't he?
Oh, he had him in there very good. Kim Anderson, number 26, is trying to get to that deep zone, and it's going to be just a little bit short. Dickey gets the ball over his head and to the receiver before the safety is able to react up.
First, you got Lofton and Jefferson coming at you on the same side of the line of scrimmage, and that'll get your attention in a big hurry.
That's why speed is so important at your wide out position, because they can stretch that zone and make it very difficult to cover even when you have 5 people out there.
Dickey completing 50% of his passes at this point. First down at the 42-yard line. Packers in their own end of the field. Score tied at 3. Dickey unloads long for Jefferson. Out of bounds.
Dickey got hit as he threw the football in.
And Jefferson wound up with double coverage. Now in the 3rd period, the Cardinals lead the Bears by a score of 7-0 on Wayne Morris' touchdown. Boy, Houston's going nowhere this year. This is a battle of have-nots, and Philadelphia leads it in the 3rd period, 21-0.
And just a couple of years ago, both of these teams were playoff contenders.
6 minutes, 3 seconds left in the first half of our game here in Baltimore in the snow.
The fall can be fast.
Huh?
I said the fall can be fast and swift.
Oh, can it ever? 2nd and 10, Packers. Dickey has Lofton and overthrows it. Lofton is 6'3" and had a step on Burrows, but Dickey overthrew it. And it'll be 3rd down. You realize if San Francisco doesn't make the playoffs this year, we'll pick this up first.
Right here, Burrows get turned around, and he's in a trailing position now. With a good throw, he might make that catch.
I started to say, you realize if San Francisco doesn't make the playoffs this year, the last 3 years, the defending Super Bowl champion will not even have made it as far as the start of the playoffs.
And who started that?
As I recall, it was a team that you were vaguely associated with, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh didn't make it. Oakland didn't make it. And now San Francisco on the ropes. 3rd and 10. Dickey. Packer receiver fell down, and a flag is thrown. John Jefferson went down at the Colt 45-yard line. And the flag was thrown in that area, so we've got what looks to be a defensive holding call against Baltimore, which means an automatic first down.
That's very unfortunate because the Colts did exactly what they wanted to do on that play. They showed a blitz, they faked it, and the Packers do not have what we call a possession pass route, and they didn't come off of it, and he threw the ball into coverage.
Holding before the pass. Number 45 on the defense. First down.
The holding is against James Burrows, number 45. Let's see if we can pick it up here.
Right here, the crossing pattern right here is to create a pick. It could have been easily on the offense, and right there, I think it was Lofton and Jefferson knocking each other off. It was on the offense rather than the defense.
In that case, the Packers get a break. 5-yard penalty on the holding call rather than the longer yardage for pass interference. Green Bay first and 10 at their 47. The reverse. Rodgers to Lofton, and this time it doesn't work. We were talking to James Lofton yesterday. He said this play's been averaging 39 yards a carry this year, but Greg Braceland, number 52, made the stop.
Braceland has been playing very well. He just become a starter the past 3 weeks. What a linebacker's supposed to do is get depth, get as deep as the ball as the ball when it's going away from you, and he was in the perfect position to make the play on that reverse on Lofton.
I believe that'll hurt his average a little bit.
I think so.
39 yards a carry, it'll probably drop about 20. Lynn Dickey carrying through the snow. Second down. Loss of 8. Second and 18 for the Packers from their 40. Lee Ivory with a big hole over the right side, clears it across midfield and into Baltimore territory to the 49-yard line. But keep in mind they have to reach the 43 of the Colts to pick up the first down.
Frank, what I was trying to say a few minutes ago, when the coach faked that blitz, the Packers do not have what you call a blitz control. They audible, and right then they thought the blitz was coming, and they were going to throw the ball to that open area, but they had some defensive backs back there that he didn't anticipate being back there.
Well, welcome to the winter wonderland of Baltimore, Maryland. Third down. Packers still need 7 for the first down. Dickey, good protection. He's got Epps at the 20-yard line, and Philip Epps, the rookie wide receiver from TCU, got behind everyone, couldn't keep his footing, but it'll be a Packer first down at the Colt 15.
Coach Starr said that he expected to get some of this double zone back here, but the soft spot in it was over the middle, right here, and they got Epps down over the middle. With his speed, being able to get back that quick. Then what you should do is get a linebacker back there so that the ball can float up in there, and they'll allow this man right here, number 34, to get over to make that play. But right there, the ball went out a straight line, and it was just too much time for him to get over there.
So the Packers rolling now with a first down at the Baltimore Colts 15-yard line. They go back to the ground game. Lee Ivory to about the 12. Clock shows 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half of play. The score tied at 3 as the teams have swapped field goals.
That's what happens sometimes when you try to disguise your defense. You want to try to disguise it a little bit so the quarterback can't get a pre-read on you. But at that time, the safety did not get to his position, and they did not get enough drop from that middleman over the middle, the linebackers.
Second and 8. Green Bay at the Baltimore 13-yard line. Dickey slipping, sliding, still loose, gonna run it to the 10, to the 5, and down to the 2-yard line. Footing getting a little rough right now. Dickey had a tough time setting up, so he simply took off and picked up the first down.
Now you're talking about disappointment. Thompson comes in here pretty good. Right there, he missed him. And now the quarterback, a guy that you know is not going to run the football, runs it for the first down and gets in position to score the touchdown.
Dave Simmons saved the touchdown. Dickey looked like a man walking on eggshells there. First and goal to go, Packers from the 2-yard line. Ellis and Ivory, the setbacks. Ivory driving to the goal line. No indication of a touchdown yet. And he was stopped by Greg Braceland, number 52. It'll be 2nd and goal.
It's very difficult down here when you're on the defense because you cannot get your footing, and it's easy to get pushed back.
2-minute warning going to both benches. We'll be back in just a moment. Pleasure to work that game last year. You see a lot of next year's pros in action, and that'll be followed by the Sun Bowl football game matching the Texas Longhorns and North Carolina. All starts at 12 noon Eastern time, Christmas Day on CBS Sports. Field turning white.
They'll have a difficult time of finding the lines here in a couple of minutes if you keep going this way.
2nd down. Packers goal to goal inside the 1. Ellis stacked up behind the line, driving hard. But he actually looked like he lost a little on that play.
It's great penetration. That is the way you play goal line defense, is to get penetration, to get in those running lanes.
It is 3rd down. Goal to go from the 1-yard line. Mike Humiston doing a good job breaking through. Colts in their goal line defense trying to thwart the high-scoring Packers. Score tied at 3, and that's the time left in the first half. Clock is moving. Timeout's really not a factor as both teams have a couple of timeouts left. Dickey going to throw it here. Slippery ball and all. And completes it for a touchdown to the tight end, Gary Lewis. John Thompson.
Problem with that, Frank, it was just too much time. He had time to look at his primary receiver, who was Roger, was coming out on the left. Turn around and look over the middle, then find the open man over there on the right. We got another look at it. Watch it all the time that he gets right here. See there? Gets one pump, another fake. And there he is right there over the middle. John Thompson catches his 2nd touchdown. I think he's caught 2 passes this year, and both of them have been for touchdowns.
Extra point try by Stenerud. And if your picture is snowy, don't try to adjust it. That's real snow. Kick is good by Stenerud, and the Packers have taken the lead for the first time in this football game with 1 minute and 13 seconds left. Again, coming up at halftime, 1 minute 13 seconds from now. Brent Musburger and Eric Cross run down all the scores and some interesting features for you, including a great feature on one of the greatest of the Baltimore Colts. Anderson straight up the middle. Returns it to about the 30-yard line, and that will be it. Sideline markers are slowly disappearing from sight, and chances are, as Joe Green mentioned, by the second half, we're going to be guessing as to where the ball is on the field.
Frank, you know, we played a game in Cincinnati a few years ago, and it was snow all over the place, and I was having a very difficult time of getting some traction. And, you know, our defensive linemen think they're not too smart, so I took my shoes off and thought I'd get better traction, and I tell you, my feet froze.
You took your shoes off during the game?
During the game. I was getting desperate.
1st and 10 Colts at the 30-yard line. Tim Sherwin, the tight end, is in motion. They work the reverse. Butler gets loose from one man, finds the door closed, and tries to come back and gets back to about the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Mike Butler, number 77, making the tackle on Ray Butler. Number 80. Weren't you afraid someone would step on your tootsies?
I tell you, I was desperate, Frank. I was not thinking.
Timeout call with 50 seconds left to play in the first half. The timeout situation. 2nd down, 11. Baltimore Colts with the football at their 29-yard line with 50 seconds left to play in the first half. Packers leading by a score of 10-3. Mike Pagel at the throttle, handing off to Zachary Dixon, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He got away from Terry Jones, who was the nose guard, but Butler wrapped him up at about the 30-yard line. And again, the fans would like the Colts to put the ball in the air, which they're not doing. And at this point, looks like they're going to be content to let the clock run out.
Very poor field position right now, and I don't think they want to have a turnover right here, so that's probably why they're trying to be conservative.
3rd and 9. We'll see if the Packers call a timeout here after this play to make sure they at least punt the football. McMillan on the carry to the 23-yard line, and no timeout being called. Yes, there is. We do now have a timeout called by the Packers with 1 second left on the clock. So they're going to make the Colts punt and at least have the opportunity for a run back. Memorial Stadium has turned into a skating rink here in the second period of this game. Be nice if this was Christmas Day. This is about as pretty a snowfall as you can imagine for anything but a football game.
I tell you, it brings back memories. When I watched the students play last week.
Ball came loose here. McMillan lost it, but they obviously ruled that he was down.
Well, I tell you, that's like Coach Madden says, the grand can't cause a fumble. He's down.
4th down. 7 needed for the first down. Stay with us. Brent Musburger and Herb Cross will be with us at halftime. Give you an update on all the scores and highlights from throughout the league. They have disdained the punt with just 1 second left. Pagel is just going to sit on it. So the clock runs out. The first half has ended. The Packers lead it by 7. Stay tuned. Brent Musburger and Herb Cross are coming up next. The all